Hello, everyone. Welcome to another session of Women of Influence Wednesdays. I'm Jalen Manser, your host, coming to you live from Portugal, Porto to be exact. I'm here with the wonderful and amazing Miss Vivian Phillips.
Yes.
Vivian,
Hi.
thank you so much for coming to be on my StreamYard podcast today. How are you?
Jalen, thank you so much for having me. I am totally excited about this conversation we're about to have.
Me too. So for the rest of the audience that's listening, I wanted to let you know, Vivian is the CEO and founder of People Empowered Worldwide LLC. She's also the former Miss Black Arizona 1987. Yes. Congratulations. Vivian, you've also had your own television talk show on CBS, and this is where I met you, by the way. You were the wild card winner, the first Great American Speak-Off created by the one and only billionaire Grant Cardone and also his sidekick, Pete Vargas. Some
amazing.
Call you the Destiny. Yes, that is amazing. Congratulations.
Congratulations to you too.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. Some call you the Destiny Doctor, and others also say that you're kind of a spiritual pit bull. You're also an international speaker, a chaplain, a deliverance minister, and a marketplace missionary. Wow. Vivian, you've got so much going on there. So many gifts. Like, tell us a little bit about how all of this came to be and a little bit more about yourself.
Well, Jalen, that's really just an indication that I've been around here for a while. That's really what that means. So yes, people call me the Destiny Doctor because my passion is other people's purpose. And interestingly enough, when I walk in the fullness of my passion, it allows me to do things like how you and I met. If you remember, you were on stage. You were fabulous.
Thank you.
I absolutely just adored you.
Oh my goodness. Well, I adored you. Thank you so much, by the way, for coming over to me and introducing yourself and like grabbing onto me. I could tell there's just such a presence about you. And I just wanted to spend more time with you. So I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you. Thank you again for being on my show. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. And I really, when I talk to people about walking in their purpose, one of the things that happens is you become compelled to do things. And so I was compelled. I didn't know you, but I was compelled to come and really make an impartation at that time to because you never know where people are in their lives or what they've been through or what's happening in their head. And I thought it was imperative for me to share with you how absolutely, utterly fabulous you were, no matter how you felt, no matter what you thought you looked like, and you looked gorgeous.
Thank you.
But there was something really special that was emanating from you.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. And I don't know if this is accurate for a description for you or not, but I feel like maybe you're kind of an empath. Like you can kind of feel what's going on with people and like what's radiating from inside of them. Would you say that's accurate?
Well, that would be accurate. That's kind of the new term that people are using, saying empath. In the Christian arena, they would call it being prophetic, meaning I have a very strong capacity to see futuristic things or to share with people things that they know they didn't tell me.
Wow. So that's part of why they call you the destiny doctor, huh? I would imagine. It's like,
Yes.
what's in your destiny? That is really cool. I mean, tell me a little bit more about that. I know that you touched on, a couple of things, but like what does all of that entail? And by the way, while you're talking about that, I'm going to drop a banner so everybody can reach out to you on that.
Oh, fantastic.
Oops, nope, that was the wrong button.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I just want to hold this up. This is a issue of Psychology Today magazine. It's their current issue, and it talks about finding your purpose. And for them to put that on the cover of this magazine, I think is really an indication of how significant finding your purpose is to people. And for me, I believe there always has to be forerunners there, and I feel like I've been walking in my purpose like my entire life. Even as a child, I felt that way. I felt like I was doing what I was created to do. And so the Destiny Doctor is really about helping people get closer to or get on what I consider the path to purpose. And most people, we have our purpose activation survey, which people see. The survey is a list of questions that give you a sense of, are you on the path of purpose or not? So the survey is kind of an overview. It's 25 questions. They're very simple. Most of them are yes or no. But then there's also a step that you can take after that. So the survey is like a preview. It's like, are you doing this? No. Okay, well, if you change that, it'll get you on the path of purpose. But then we do what's called a purpose activation summary. And that one isn't free. The survey is free. And the summary is a more detailed outline of how you answered the survey. It's just more detailed. And so 98% of the people who do the purpose activation survey are not walking in their purpose.
That is so good. So I have to tell you, I did go onto your website and I did the activation survey just prior to doing this podcast. And I haven't done the final step yet, but I'll do that when I would imagine, I know you touched on the number a little bit, like so many people, they aren't walking in their purpose. They don't even know what the heck their purpose is. Right. So the fact that you have this tool available to help people kind of discover and activate their purpose. Now, after you get the survey from the person, and then what is the next step after I know that there's a fee involved to get the summary, like what is the next step after that? Like, where do you take them?
So there's actually two things. So when you do the survey, you can take the survey and take action on just the survey. You don't have to do the summary. I don't know. Did you find the survey informative based on the questions that we asked?
Yes, it was very informative, and it actually made me think. I'm like, am I doing that? Yeah, no, I'm not. And so there some of the questions were a little bit hard for me to answer because I didn't want to say no, but I had to be honest. And I'm like, oh yeah, no.
Right. And the wonderful thing about the survey is it's private. Nobody sees your survey. So you don't have to worry about being intimidated. You don't have to worry about what is somebody else going to say. Just I see it. My team sees it. If you want to take it further. So then the summary based on the questions that you answer, yes or no, we go into more explicit detail of what that really means. So there's a couple things. So you can do the survey, then you can do the summary, and then what we have a purpose strategy session, which follows that. So if you want to do something more detailed, we do Zoom strategy sessions where we pull a group of people together and we dialogue about what it is that you're doing, what happened with your survey, how do you move in your purpose? Because essentially what we're doing is we're shifting people from where they are to being activated in where they should be.
I love that so much. And I know that myself personally, I could definitely use your service. My husband will tell you that, I say over and over, I'm like, I don't know what my purpose is. I'm like waiting for a sign from God. And he's like, I don't think it really works like that. And I'm like,
Most
but
people
yeah,
do. They do
yeah.
think. I'll tell you, here's a big one. One of the things I did is I wrote this book called Revival in the Pews. And the reason I wrote that book is because a lot of people go to church and they think because they're sitting in the pew that somehow they're going to fulfill their destiny. No,
Doesn't work like that. Doesn't work like
doesn't work
that.
that way. So
Yeah.
even the book that I wrote, even though the book isn't purpose per se, it's a revelation on what is it that you're supposed to be doing. And so the goal is to get people, and here's the other thing, Jaylyn. People make the assumption because they're making a lot of money or they're doing something that's profoundly impactful that they're walking in their purpose. And that is not necessarily true. I always say you can be doing good, but it may not be God. And what I mean by that is I feel like there's a divine purpose that each one of us was created for. So I could be feeding the homeless. I could be, clothing people, dealing with, just helping in all types of ways. And I could be avoiding what it is that I'm really supposed to be doing.
So, Vivian, what are some characteristics or qualities or maybe signals that someone could recognize and be like, oh, that's a sign that I'm, heading towards walking in my purpose? Like, what does that look like?
Well, that's a really good question because purpose and destiny, what I like to tell people is it's not a destination. It's not, my purpose is to be a doctor. Your purpose and destiny is about process. So when you're in, and I call it the path, because when you're on your path to purpose and you're engaged in the process, there's a sense of fulfillment. There's a sense of value and with about your life. And that's where most people know they're not fulfilling their purpose. I mean, you have people working in the emergency room at hospitals and they're saving lives every day. And they're like, I am so unfulfilled. And then they quit their job and they become a teacher.
Yeah.
And there's a sense of peace. And when I say peace, I don't mean you don't have problems. Things don't happen in your life that are disappointments. It doesn't mean that you don't have failures, but it means that you know that you're headed in the right direction. And it's interesting because most people, that sense of peace and purpose, they'll tell you if they have it or don't.
Yeah.
Because when you don't have purpose, there's always this little thing nagging at you. It's like gnawing constantly. You're like, ugh. Because I know you're making a huge difference. I mean, I read your whole website. I watched your videos. I thought, oh my, that's really awesome. That's really
Thank
awesome.
you. Thank you. It's interesting though to me because it's just like a quick backstory about me. Like I moved from Kansas to California in 2000 and I was a single mom and I was literally living paycheck to paycheck, but I had such a sense of peace that you were referring to. Like I knew what I was doing at that point in time was fulfilling. I loved my job. Even though at that point in time I was stuck in a 9-to-5 job and I did get out of it. But just having that sense of, just being happy and just feeling fulfilled. And like, it didn't have anything to do with how much money I was making.
There
I
you
wasn't
go.
making, I wasn't making any. And I was fine with it.
Right. Because it's not about money. I mean,
Yeah.
who dies and says, how much money can I take with me?
Right.
No. People, the one of the keys to purpose and knowing you're there is there's a sense of your life is contributing to the lives of others.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so good. So what would you say are some of the biggest challenges when you're talking to an individual in relationship to them walking in their purpose? Like, what is the biggest thing that maybe is holding them back or getting in their way?
Well, I think what I've seen a lot of is really a lack of understanding. Um, for example, responsibility. We all have responsibilities and obligations. We have to pay our bills. Most of us have to work. And that is a part of how you fulfill your purpose. So it's your job isn't your purpose, but what you're doing on your job could be a part of your purpose. And so I think educating people, and that's why I literally created a whole system where people can get involved so that you can come to a process of perfecting your purpose. Going to church is not going to get you to your purpose. That it just is just not set up that way. It should do that. Honestly, when you read my book, you'll see that when you go to church, you should be able to find the path to purpose. But because the church isn't structured the way it should be, what happens is people go and they feel hopeless. They go with the hope that they're going to get there, and then they leave again and again and again thinking, I can't get there. So I think education is the one thing that's holding people back. Accountability is another thing. So, for example, one of the questions that we ask in the purpose activation survey is, do you have an accountability partner? Not necessarily a mentor, but someone who's going to hold you accountable to fulfilling the assignment that God has given you. When I sit down with people, I can interact with people in such a way in a short period of time that by the time if I spend an hour with you, by the time we're done, you're going to have a sense of which direction you're supposed to go in. Now, but will you do that? And sometimes
Mm.
we need people to hold our feet to the fire to say, you know what? You need to take that class because that class is going to help you fulfill your purpose. Or you need to go and talk to that person because that's going to connect you to your purpose. Or you need, whatever the things are, there are a sequence of things that when you get on the path, you start, it's like you start putting one foot in front of the other. And then all of a sudden, you're in this place that you literally never imagined you would be. I'm somewhere I never imagined.
I love that. That is
Yeah.
so good. So
Mhm.
good. I think everybody should go to your website, mydestinydoctor.com, and get their free purpose activation survey and do it. I think it's going to be so helpful for so many people. Like, I've done it. Like, I would encourage you all to do it. It's like super easy. It'll literally take you like 2 or 3 minutes. That's it.
Yeah. And you can take that, like I said, you can take the survey alone, 25 questions. And if you start writing, when I say write, RIGHT, writing those things that do that alone and it'll transform your life.
That's so good. I
Yeah.
love what you're doing, and truly transforming people's lives with your work. And I like, God bless you. Like, amen, sister. I love it.
We have to. It's like people, I don't know if people really understand the significance of walking in your purpose. When you're in the fullness of it, first of all, transformation for you is inevitable. But what happens for other people? I mean, I'm doing things I never imagined. I literally, I'll give you this example. And this is something really, really simple. And people spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on this. Because I'm walking in the fullness of my purpose, I know that I have a healing gift. Okay. So, sinus problems. Sinus problems is an indication that you are irritated by someone who is close to you. It could be a coworker, it could be a family member, it could be, but there's some form of irritation. When you identify what that irritation is, and I have, this has happened 100% of the time. I can be at the grocery store, I can get in a Lyft, I can talk to someone driving down the street, have that conversation, they have the revelation, and instantly the sneezing, the nasal drip, all of the irritation that is with sinus problems is instantly gone.
That is fascinating. Well, I have to tell you that I must be irritating the hell out of my husband because he's had some serious sinus issues lately.
So seriously, just have him identify what it is, release it. That means let it go. Let it go. And the sinus problems will be instantly resolved.
That is fascinating. I can't wait to share that with him after this.
Yeah. And then you get back to me and let me know.
I will, Vivian. Now, one thing that I wanted to ask you about that I didn't say up front when I was talking about you was you are a faith-focused cessation expert. What the heck is that?
It means I help people quit smoking using their faith. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I smoked for 24 years and could not quit.
Wow.
I tried everything. I tried the gum, patch, Zyban. Now, I wasn't walking in the fullness of my purpose at that time, but I was headed in that direction. And so, believe it or not, I have a capacity to really hear God very clearly. And I had been praying and asking God for wisdom and guidance on how to quit smoking. And I heard 10 words. I heard 10 words. And from that moment, I never smoked again. I say what happened is the word that I heard went to the root of the addiction. So I created a faith-based quit smoking CD, and the methodology that God used on me to help me quit, I put it in a CD form. It was featured at the National Tobacco Conference for the United States of America. And that's the stuff that happens when you really start walking in your purpose.
That is amazing. Now, how does somebody get hold of this amazing tool?
I have the CD, and actually I only have about a few copies left because we're going to turn it into an app. So I do have the CD. The CD is I have a couple copies of it left, and the CD is $20 plus shipping and handling. And you can reach out to me on the Purpose Activation Survey as well.
Okay, that's wonderful. That's so exciting that you're having that turned into an app. I love it. I love apps in general, especially, that it's also faith-based. Now, I'm curious to know, what were those 10 words, if you remember, that were spoken to you saying, okay, I'm quitting now. I'm done.
Well, one of the things that I talk about in the CD is that when you incorporate your faith in overcoming any obstacle like addiction, there's a personal prescription for you. What my prescription was is not necessarily the same as what would happen for you. And I've watched hundreds and hundreds of people now, and it is amazing. Not one single person has been delivered from their addiction the same way I was. But for
Wow.
me, and I can't even tell you why those words did that to me. But what the Lord spoke to me is that smoking is an obstruction to my magnificence and my glory. That was it. It was 10 words. I never smoked again. I never had a craving. I never desired it. For 24 years, I was addicted.
Wow.
Yep.
That is so crazy good. I myself am a former smoker, and I was like, I would quit off and on. I was never a heavy smoker, but a smoker is a smoker nonetheless, right?
You're right.
It is a highly addictive and disgusting habit. Like the worst thing was, yeah, it was so bad. But like for me, like the impetus for me quitting was my now husband. He was like, he would not date a smoker. So I'm like, that was enough for me. I'm like, all right, I'm done. I'm quitting.
Wow.
But, yeah.
I wish a man had come and said that to me. Maybe that would have worked.
But I know it's different for everybody, and like, hey, whatever works for you. And I'm so glad that, that worked for you, that you had this message, these 10 words from God.
Yes.
And so I love that story so much. Another thing that you wrote in your bio, you said something to do with Oprah. Can you tell me a little bit about that? I didn't really get any details on that.
That's funny. So Oprah did a show on foreign men. Now this was a long time ago. She did a show on foreign men who love American women.
Oh.
And so she had these competitions all around the United States, and I won the competition in Arizona. And so,
Wow.
yeah, I competed with thousands of people. And so I got to go and hang out with Oprah literally for 4 days and 3 nights, and all these men from overseas.
That sounds like a great time. Wow. It sounds like a fabulous party. I love
Yeah,
it.
it was wonderful. It was really, really wonderful. And I had an interesting interaction with her. She said to me, whenever you want to come back, let me know.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So
great.
I suspect someday I'll be back again.
I suspect you will. She seems like an amazing person. I would love to meet her someday myself. So what a blessing that you got to spend time with her.
And she is genuinely the same person that you see on television in person.
Oh,
Yeah.
so good. I
Yeah.
love that. As you should be. You should be the same person on camera that you are in real life, right?
Right.
Nobody
Right.
wants to deal with a fake, right?
No,
Somebody who's being inauthentic. So
no.
you clearly, my dear, are 100% genuine and authentic. And I just love you so much. So thank you so much for being on here again.
Thank you for having me. And so are you, which is why like attracts like.
Yes, definitely. So, well, I wanted to ask you one last question before we part ways for now. So, what are some words of advice that you would give to, in particular, young women, young people these days who are trying to find their way in this world and trying to find the purpose? What is that one piece of advice you would give them?
I think the most important thing I could say to actually anyone is finding your purpose is the most important thing you should be in pursuit of. It saves you a lot of time, a lot of energy. It's a way to prevent unnecessary relationships and commitments. It's a way to save you money, because a lot of people invest a lot of money in education, trainings, this, that, and the other thing that ultimately has nothing to do with your purpose. And so the sooner you can find it, the better. And it just makes you a more enjoyable person.
I
But
love that.
I also want to say this: it's actually never too late either. It's never too late. So if you happen to be 40, 50, or 60 years old, like I am, don't feel like, oh, it's over, because all the things that you've done, all the things that you've been through are now going to help you with your purpose. Yeah.
Definitely. That is great advice. And yes, so kind of cut to the chase, so to speak, like it's not quite gotten there yet. Like keep striving for that. You're going to get there, right? With your help, please reach out to Vivian and go take her free purpose activation survey. And trust me, it's going to change your life and just help activate and open up just a world of possibilities to you. And I'm so excited to get the results of my survey after we finish this podcast. And I'm excited to reconnect with you again soon, Miss Vivian.
Well, it was a pleasure, Jaylyn. I think you're an amazing woman. I'm excited for what God has in store for you. I speak blessings over you, your relationship, your life, and your purpose.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. God bless you.
You're welcome. See you soon.
See you soon.